If you were born in the 1940s, the 1950s, or the 1960s, I need you to stop everything and watch this entire video before this month is over. Because right now, in July 2026, the Social Security Administration has rolled out changes that are directly hitting your check. And not all three groups are being hit the same way. What is happening to someone born in the 1940s is completely different from what is happening to someone born in the 1950s, and completely different again from someone born in the 1960s. That is exactly why most Social Security videos out there are failing you right now. They lump all three groups together, give you one vague warning, and walk away. This video will not do that. I want to be honest with you about what I have personally seen happen to real people who did not know about these changes in time. I have seen retirees born in the 1940s miss a correction window that would have added hundreds of dollars every single month to their check for the rest of their lives, simply because a notice went to an old address and no one called to warn them. I have seen people born in the 1950s sitting on thousands of dollars in retroactive payments, money the government already calculated and set aside with their name on it, frozen in a processing queue because one small verification step was never completed and nobody told them. And I have seen individuals born in the 1960s permanently lock in a reduced benefit for life, not because they chose it, but because they never saw the real numbers clearly laid out in front of them before they signed. Every single one of those outcomes was entirely preventable. This video exists so that none of them happened to you. By the time we are finished here, you will know exactly what is changing in July 2026, what it means for your specific birth decade, and the exact action you need to take before the deadlines run out. Stay through the trust fund section near the end as well, because what just dropped on June 9th is something every single person collecting a Social Security check right now needs to hear. Subscribe to this channel right now and hit that bell, because the SSA does not call you when the rules change, and I make sure you are never the last to know. Now let us get into all three groups. If you were born in the 1940s, you are somewhere between 77 and 85 years old today. You have been receiving Social Security benefits for years, possibly 2 decades or more. And the July 2026 change hitting your group hardest involves your earnings record and a 90-day correction window that may already be counting down on you right now, without your knowledge. Here's what happened. When many seniors in this age group originally filed for Social Security in the late 1990s and early 2000s, the SSA's record systems had documented limitations. In certain cases, benefits were calculated using incomplete or inaccurate earnings histories. The SSA has known about specific categories of these errors for years. What changed in July 2026 is that the agency activated a new internal correction protocol, one that automatically flags accounts in this birth decade for a records review. When a discrepancy is found, a written correction notice is generated and mailed out to the address on file. Here is where the danger comes in. I want to tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy is 79 years old, a retired nurse from outside of Columbus, Ohio. She moved in with her daughter 3 years ago after her husband passed. She never updated her mailing address with the SSA. Last month, a correction notice was sent to her old house. The current occupants did not forward it. Dorothy has no idea that a 90-day window is counting down right now on a correction that would add $260 to her monthly check every single month for the rest of her life. That is over $3,000 a year, and she does not even know it exists. This is happening to seniors across this country right now. Many retirees born in the 1940s have moved since they originally filed their claim. Many have family members managing their affairs who may not recognize a correction notice when it appears in the mailbox. That notice triggers a 90-day response window, starting from the date it is issued. If no response comes back within that window, the correction closes permanently. The account is marked as reviewed with no change, and the benefit continues at the wrong, lower amount for the rest of that person's life. Here is exactly what you do right now. Call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213 today. Verify that the mailing address they have on file for you is current and correct. Then ask the representative directly. Has my account been flagged under the July 2026 earnings record review protocol? And has any correction notice already been generated and sent? If a notice went out and you never received it, ask them to reissue it to your current address and confirm the new 90-day window start date from that reissued date. Do not assume your address on file is current. Do not assume that silence means nothing is pending. One phone call today could uncover money sitting inside that system, waiting for a response that never came. If you were born in the 1950s, you are currently somewhere between 66 and 75 years old. You are either freshly retired, actively navigating Social Security decisions right now, or approaching the window where the choices you make in the next year or two will define your monthly payment for the rest of your life. And the July 2026 change hitting your group most directly involves retroactive payments from the Social Security Fairness Act that may already be sitting in a processing queue with your name on them right now. Here is the background you need. The Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law on January 5, 2025. It permanently eliminated two provisions that had been quietly reducing benefits for millions of retirees for decades: the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. If at any point in your working career you were employed by a state or local government, a public school system, a federal agency before 1984, or any employer that did not withhold Social Security taxes from your paycheck, your benefit may have been cut under one or both of those provisions for years. Teachers, firefighters, police officers, postal workers, federal employees under the Civil Service Retirement System. That is now over. The SSA has already sent over $17 billion in retroactive payments to more than 3.1 million beneficiaries. But here is what is still happening in 2026. Some cases involving complex benefit histories are still being processed. Some surviving spouses who never even applied for benefits, because the old GPO rule would have wiped them out entirely, are just now discovering they may be owed money going back to January 2024. And a bipartisan group of senators is currently pushing the SSA to extend retroactive payments even further for people who were left behind. This means that if you or your late spouse ever worked a job covered by a public pension, and you have not yet seen a benefit increase or a lump sum deposit, you may still be owed money. The average retroactive payment for those affected by both the WEP and the GPO has been averaging between $5,000 and $8,500 as a lump sum, plus a permanently higher monthly check going forward. That money belongs to you. Here is what you do right now. Call 1-800-772-1213 today. Ask whether your account has any pending recalculation tied to the windfall elimination provision or the government pension offset. Ask whether a retroactive payment has been calculated on your behalf and whether it has been released. And confirm that the direct deposit information currently on file is accurate and up to date. Because if your banking information changed at any point in the past few years, your payment may be sitting in a suspended status, calculated, set aside, waiting, and going nowhere until you make that call. One phone call could release thousands of dollars that have been frozen in that queue for months. If you were born in the 1960s, you are currently somewhere between 60 and 65 years old. And the July 2026 change affecting your group carries the most permanent consequences of all three groups in this video. This is the section I told you to stay for. People born in the 1960s are either approaching Social Security eligibility for the very first time or have only very recently become eligible. And here is what makes July 2026 so critical for your group specifically. Your full retirement age is now 67. This became final in 2026. The last step in a gradual increase phasing in since the 1983 amendments to the Social Security Act. For everyone born in 1960 or later, the full retirement age is 67 flat. No more in a few months. Just 67. And here's what that means in real dollars. Filing at 62 permanently cuts your monthly benefit by 30%. Not temporarily. Not until you catch up at full retirement age. Permanently, for the rest of your life. The maximum monthly benefit if you retire at 62 in 2026 is $2,969. But if you wait until 70, that number jumps all the way to $5,181. That is a difference of more than $2,200 every single month, permanently. And for every year you hold off past 67 up to age 70. Social Security adds about 8% to your monthly benefit. Wait all the way to 70, and your check is roughly 24% bigger than it would have been at 67. The July 2026 rule now requires SSA representatives to deliver a written side-by-side comparison, 62 versus 67 versus 70, before processing any new claim from someone born in the 1960s. This is the written breakdown that most people in this group never received before they signed. And the July rule also introduced a 30-day reconsideration window specifically for new filers in this birth decade. If you submitted a Social Security application within the past 30 days and you were born in the 1960s, you currently have a window running from your original application date to withdraw that application at no cost, reconsider the age you are claiming at, and resubmit later to lock in a permanently higher benefit. This expires exactly 30 days from your application date. If you filed recently and have any doubt at all about the age you selected, call 1-800-772-1213 today. Ask about the July 2026 new filer reconsideration window. Ask before that clock runs out. Now, the bigger picture every senior needs to hear. On June 9, 2026, the Social Security trustees released their annual report, and what it said is something every person collecting a Social Security check right now needs to fully understand. The Social Security Trust Fund is now projected to be depleted in the fourth quarter of 2032, 1 year earlier than last year's projection. The deadline keeps moving closer. And here's why. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, passed in July 2025, gave seniors a new tax deduction of up to $6,000. On your tax return, that is real money back in your pocket. But follow the money one step further. A portion of the taxes seniors paid on their Social Security benefits used to flow back into the trust fund. Reduce those taxes, and you reduce the money coming in. Social Security's own chief actuary confirmed this had material effects on the financial status of the trust funds. The gift given with one hand quietly pulled the deadline forward with the other. Now, does 2032 mean your checks stop? No. Social Security is not going bankrupt. When the reserves are exhausted, incoming payroll taxes will still cover 78% of scheduled benefits. But that remaining 22% gap triggers an automatic across-the-board cut, not based on your income, not based on your age. Everyone, the same day, the same cut. For an average retiree receiving $2,000 a month right now, that is $440 gone every single month. If you receive $1,500, you lose $330. If you receive $2,500, you lose $550. And hear this clearly, the senators elected in this very election cycle may still be in office when this hits. What they do, or refuse to do, will directly determine what lands in your account in 2032. Your check is safe today, but who you vote for tomorrow has never mattered more. Here is the full picture for all three groups. If you were born in the 1940s, call 1-800-772-1213 today. Verify your mailing address on file is current. Ask whether your account has been flagged under the July 2026 Earnings Record Review Protocol. A 90-day response window may already be counting down on a correction notice you never received. If you were born in the 1950s, call that same number today. Ask about any pending recalculation tied to the windfall elimination provision or the government pension offset. Confirm your direct deposit details are verified and current. Thousands of dollars in retroactive payments may be sitting in a queue, waiting solely on your one phone call to move forward. And if you were born in the 1960s, hear this clearly. Your full retirement age is 67. Filing at 62 versus waiting until 70 is a difference of over $2,200 every single month, permanently. If you submitted a new application within the past 30 days, the July 2026 reconsideration window is your chance to revisit that decision before it becomes permanent and irreversible. The number for all three groups is 1-800-772-1213. You can also log in and review your account directly at SSA.gov. 3 birth decades, 3 separate July changes, 3 separate actions, each one with a deadline already running. Please share this video right now with every person in your family born in the 1940s, 1950s, or 1960s, because each group has something specific and genuinely urgent to act on this month. Subscribe to this channel so you are never the last to know about a change that directly affects your check. The rules changed in July. Now you know exactly what to do.